You should be live right now. Right? It's a little bit of delay, so just mind that. You should be live right now. Yep, indeed. It's a little bit of delay, so just mind that. Yeah. There we go. You should be live right now. Yep. What a very late start to the live stream. I'm late, so it's just not going to be here at all. Yeah, so CodingHome bot discussion. Jasmine has a slideshow. He might be leaving in, you said, like 30 minutes-ish?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, so we might rush this a tiny bit. Yeah, we're just gonna try to go the best we can with what time we have. Do you just want to continue?
Sure, yeah, I'll take it from the top. So, today we're just talking basically about the CodingHome bot and discussing its future plans, I guess. So, to start off with what the CodingHome bot actually is, it's created and maintained by the CodingHome staff. So, we created it, and we're the only ones really actively maintaining it at this point. But it's actively used every day for things like the daily challenge, and it's completely open source, so anyone from the community can improve it or add to it.
Yeah, reminder, this thing is in JavaScript, so with that in mind.
Yes, and that is a good point to make, as that might change in the future. So I guess now we can go on to the future and what people can expect from the CodingHome bot. So in the future, we're looking to add AI and user-submitted daily challenges, so to kind of remove that repetitiveness and make it so we get more interesting and more customized daily challenges. Also, we're looking to more tightly integrate moderation into the bot's ecosystem, so that makes logging easier and it kind of puts everything in one place, as well as lastly, specifically looking at a code compiler to better serve the community. And as always, look to upgrade the hardware of the bot, which we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah, I really don't have too much to say tonight.
So now we can move on to how the bot's actually hosted. So right now it's currently being hosted through Replit and using a Replit database. We do have big plans to upgrade this to a dedicated server soon, and integrate this with a tighter database, such as like Mongo database, or even things, even like an SQL database, to better take into consideration our moderation needs and for other things in the future. So now we're just going to take a deep dive into some of the bot's current existing code and give people a little bit of a chance to ask some specific questions about what they might be specifically interested in, but we'll just do a general rundown of all the code first. So this is the GitHub repository of the CodingHome bot. I can see just like 9 hours ago, there's a patch approved from Alex, But otherwise, things are grouped pretty simply for now. We plan to have more down here, more explanation onto how you can contribute to the project.
Yeah,
But for right
so
now, it's pretty.
so reminder, Celcio gave me a little bit of points before she left. She gave me a respiratory, and she said that C++ could be the best way to compile and just create the bot with. But it doesn't, like, she has her own repository where she created her own bot. Might share that in the chat. But realistically, you can go JavaScript, Python, C++, however you feel comfortable with, and I think she does just well in those programming languages. I have no idea about Venet and Gene. I think he does well. I think in those three languages, but otherwise then, yeah, I'll just get the respiratory here real quickly.
All right, we can take a look at the rest of this code then. So here it's kind of organized by just everything in the root file and then our commands in a separate folder. So obviously we have our package and package log JSON files that just specify what outside package we need to import. And then we have our index.js file. So our index.js file. Give me a second, I need to change my keybind. It keeps jumping me to the bottom of the page whenever I try to press my keybind to talk for a second.
Yeah, I do have keybinds also set. Yeah, Zolzio kind of criticized how this thing uses Express and how it kind of looks like a mess, is what she said, like the night before, so.
Yes, I can definitely attest to that. It is a mess and should and will get cleaned up in the future unless we just totally go over and switch to a different programming language like C++. So I'll kind of go over that initially. So
And yep, she also mentioned in her speaking points that just cleaning up the code, it's pretty much as his own point.
all right, so here you can kind of see the mess with the server imports, talking about Express specifically. So there's really no reason currently to have Express. It's just imported and set up and run with no real reason whatsoever. This is a big item that needs to be removed or heavily taken into consideration when building a new one, as well as just the overall layout of how things are imported. You can see like we have things at the top of our file. We then have some down here, down here. It's just, and we set up our database in the middle of the code. We have a bunch of this empty space, followed by manually typing in the questions.
Yep.
So overall, really not a great design.
Yeah, but it works, so it works.
It does work.
Yeah.
So we start off by getting fs and path from node so we can edit and retrieve files from our other folders and read them. So this part here is all for Discord. This is basically the bare bones of how you acquire all the imports for Discord to make bot work. So we know our client, that's the physical bot, collection and intents, that's the what you want to get from the server, and embed guild builder, that's the way we send embeds, and then guild manager, which is specifically server related moderation.
One of those other points is that using a linter and or code formatter for code consistency.
Yes, yeah, that's definitely a big thing on our to-do list.
Yep, and also task relegation and use of Git And she also put down think like Git workflow.
Yes, I agree. I think we also need to work on our Git workflow. We'll get to that in a second with pull requests and such, but let's plunge on. So here you can see we are getting our token from environment variable. So we're not going to leak this directly on the GitHub page, but the bot does come with its very unique environment variable, and it's processed through this, I don't know, not the best, not how I would do it. It's not the best, most secure method. Again, we skip express because it's probably going away. And here is when we really create the Discord client, throwing our intents in. We want to manage the guild and the guild messages specifically. You can have many more intents, but for our purposes, we only need these two. Here's where we start reading the commands in this commands folder. So down here, we start by getting the folder of commands, and then for each file that ends in JavaScript, we read those and then loop over them, setting our client to read those commands. So when down here, when interaction is created and it's not a command, then we get it. This is just a console log for our purposes. Then we try to execute the interaction using the preset commands up here. Now here, this is just relaying the server and telling it that the bot is online and is fully connected. Down here, almost finally, we have our database set up. So currently just using Replit database, although this will change in the future as it's not a great long-term solution, but it is pretty simple to set up. All right, next we'll move on to the questions. So as you see currently, we are manually importing every question of the day like this, which is extremely inefficient and also leads to many, many repeat questions. I think we're on week 3 of the same question over and over again because it's so tedious to go and redo all of these every week. So that's definitely a big item on the to-do list to figure out. I don't know if that's going to be a user submission or if that's going to be an AI submission, but some way to automate this process.
Yeah, I think our users can definitely should have the right, maybe, ish, to see what they can do, to see what questions or daily challenges they can say. Might put down some time after.
Yes, I agree. Definitely. We're also thinking about a possible solution where we might not have a daily challenge every day, but if a user submits something, that gets pushed to the challenge. This is the function that handles our daily challenge. So we have a database input for the time that the last daily challenge was sent. We check, we get today's date, and we set it to now. And then we get a new date, and we compare today's date to the day beforehand. And if the day is at least one day past when it was sent, then it will create this function, runs this function, which is just a switch function that takes the day, so on, which is with a switch case of the physical day. So on day 0, day 1, day 2, so we're looking at Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Then we come down here and we get the actual embed with our date, but the actual challenge is this object up here of questions where we will pass through the switch function the actual day. So we say day equals Tuesday. Come down here, we're taking the questions object, we're passing the value of the day, so Tuesday, through it. Then getting channel for our daily challenge and pinging the challenge, obviously, and then throwing the embed in it. again, down here, it checks the date. So upon the initiation of the bot, it automatically checks this. But and also a good thing to note is we also have this command over here called challenge, which we'll get to in a minute, which if at any point any user can run this function. If at any point the user runs the slash command slash challenge, the bot will go over and double check that a daily challenge was sent that day. If it hasn't, it'll send one. If it has, it will just do nothing. Lastly, we're just exporting this as a daily challenge. So this whole function is the daily challenge function, so we can then call it in our challenge.js. And lastly, we're just logging on to Discord through this client.login function. All right, now we can move on, I think, to the command section. So starting off with what we were just talking about, we can go over the challenge.js file. So for this bot at least, and for many other Discord bots that use JS and Discord.js, they use a program called slash command builder. It's part of Discord.js and makes building slash commands and exporting them much easier. So obviously we should need to set the name, the description, and then what interaction we want to happen when it's called. So if at any point you run it, it should just do exactly what's in here. So as we can see, first we're getting this daily challenge function from our index.js file. That's why we export it to the end of our file. We then call the function. So at any point, if you run this challenge slash command, it'll automatically test if there needs to be a daily challenge, then alert you that it's been triggered and that it will check. Basically, it's pretty simple with our icon, obviously. And then just reply to the interaction, your slash command, with the message. Lastly, I guess we can go over this help file. So this will definitely grow as bot expands and as more slash commands get added. So again, we're just importing the slash command builder with a description and then a list of all the commands. We're starting off by running over our example embedded, which is just what I like to call it. It just makes it easier. Down here, modeled up, have our author, our description, and then here we can relay the different fields that describe what they do. We always get the date in here to make sure we know when this was sent, and it's the same thing as always, returning that interaction back to the slash command. Lastly, I guess we can probably go over the deploy commands JavaScript file. So this file, largely, I did not make. This was provided by Discord as kind of a guideline on how you should deploy your commands or slash commands directly to their servers. So as part of Discord.js, they have REST and routes. So we get those. We have to provide them our token, our client ID, and guild ID, or what server we want to display these commands in. Now this is really important. So let's say the bot mysteriously gets added to a random Discord server. Now it's not like other bots that have a click button on their profile. I've disabled that, so it can't be automatically added to any other server. But if someone were to get the development URL, they could perhaps add it to a different server. Now, this stops it from those slash commands being published to other servers by specifying a guild ID, so it can only be used inside of CodingHome. Now again, we need our node fs, which is getting challenges. We're creating an array of all the commands and then reading the commands inside of our folder. Lastly, we're just registering the commands. So Discord, again, has their own kind of REST function specifically to push to their server. So I don't need to worry about the API connection. So we're using server version 9 for now. I'm not sure if there's a newer one. This works fine for now. We might start updating in the future. So we set our token to bot token. So that's kind of our authentication. Going into the server, we need to provide any type of authentication because we know our unique token from up here. Then I like to wrap things in an async function. Makes things a little bit more neater, I guess. So again, it just automatically calls itself. We don't have to worry time calling any functions here. I like to add this in here so I know when this is happening. It happens automatically, but then I often automatically trigger this command after updating / command. We just tell the Discord client about what our client ID is and what the guild ID is. This is just telling it. So if you're in the CodingHome server with this bot specifically, add these commands to it. Very simple. And then we lastly catch errors, which is a big part of what I do. Now down here, I have this, which is if I want to register any of the commands globally. So when other bots I do, which are added to multiple servers, I would do this instead, which doesn't specify a specific server. So if I wanted to have the same / command on multiple servers, such as the DeltaSoft AI bot, which uses the /ask DeltaSoft command, that's pushed to multiple different servers. Lastly, we just run over some of the other files here. This is not a great name for a file. This is just the image for the file. This will probably also be changing quite soon in the future to once we have a rebrand of the whole CodingHome bot to make it more unison, as well as to get input from the community as what they would like to see every time they use a / command. So it's kind of just like a placeholder image. We have our README file, which is pretty simple. This will also be expanded with more information about how you can contribute to it. We have our package lock, which really is pretty simple. We're not going to go over this all. Just says the name and all our dependencies. And lastly, our package JSON file, which isn't much. We just had an updated Node.js from Alex in here, because we can see
It's Discord.js. It's Discord.js. You said
Discord.js.
Yeah, you said Node.js.
My bad. I did say Node.js. I meant Discord.js. Smart. Updating this. I think that's about it. Wrapping up.
Yeah, do you mind checking?
Hey.
Yeah. Do you want to go to package lock and see if we need to update anything there? Yeah, I didn't really put too much on that. Yeah.
It should definitely be run.
Yeah, Discord.js is not updated in that file.
We can update this after, I think, but it's definitely good to look over this every once in a while. Again, it's normally easier to update this all from the command line. Over these files as they're just so long, or importing. Most of them are just importing node modules. Most of these are just dependencies of Discord.js itself, like Axios and Blob. So you don't have to worry too much about those. But then you guys have other questions.
Yeah. If you don't know already, Gene's rebooting. I guess his microphone just doesn't work apparently. But yeah, I'm gonna wait until he gets back and see if he has anything. Cause he was gone for like like 10, 8 minutes. So yeah. Yes. I'm pretty sure I already said most of Celsius points. It's just that she might criticize just how the code is using. Yeah.
Alright, I guess if we're still just waiting for him, we can move on to Q&A section for now.
There is no audience here. I don't think there's anybody in the live chat as well. Yeah. So pretty much,
Alright, then I guess we can move on to just thanks for coming to our very simple discussion and running over how it actually works. We'll wait a little bit longer to see if Ben and Gene gets back and he has anything else to add, but otherwise I might just get cut out. Um, yeah, if you would like to contribute to the open source project, you can look back in the video to where we display the URL to the GitHub, or if you just search CodingHome bot or Protos on GitHub, you can find it very easily. It's a public repository here. Just create pull requests, create issues. I do monitor this, so I'll see it pretty fast. Do you have anything else to add?
Not really. Just the package log.json. I didn't update that Discord JS version in there, so if you just want to keep the headline.
Okay.
Yeah, package log. It's still 13.8 when it should be 14 point something.
Here, we can do that right now. 14 point something.
Yeah, it should be. It already should be in package. It's just not in package log.
What is the current Discord version we're using in package? Ooh, 14.13.0. Again, when making changes to this, we like to make these kind of pull requests and then compare it before adding it directly back to the base, especially when changing things like our Discord.js version or our Node version, as that could extremely mess things up.
Yeah, sometimes Discord JS versions just like different stuff more than older ones, and they change a lot of things. And yeah, I think I already have Discord.js docs in my resources, but yeah, if you want to take a look at that, I'll probably post it in the chat. And hey, look at that, it's powered by Versal, one of my enemies.
You're so against Vercel. I can't believe you.
That's because you use Netflix, and Netflix is like, I don't know, what I started with. I'm just more comfortable with Netflix as Versal. Versal just sounds kind of bad.
I gotta say, setting up a custom domain with Vercel was much easier than Netlify, though.
I already bought my domain before I used Netflix. I always register my domains via Namecheap. Yeah, I really don't have any other points. Vending can get on any moment. And yeah, Zozio's just gone. You just want to leave it at that, or like you might have to go in a few minutes, but I'll just stay here and see if Vending has anything to add.
Yeah, we'll do that. So I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for coming to listen to me talk about this. Thank you for having me come to talk about this.
Yeah.
If you're gonna stay and wait for Gene, then I'll close out of this presentation, and any of the discussion you guys have, I'll make sure to watch later.
Yeah, this live stream, the beginning was one disaster, so yeah, at least we got through it, because, I don't know, I was late. The live stream just apparently didn't work at all. And then Zozie had to be gone due to family issues, and then Ben and Jean's microphone just doesn't even work. So,
glad I got my keyboard keybinds finally fixed.
I was just gonna say at this point, just move it to next week since everyone's just so busy. Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Alright.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. I don't know when the next event is, but if you wanna have another discussion, you can just let me know.
All right.
Yeah, so if any live stream viewers are watching this, yeah, we're gonna be waiting a while. I'm gonna go DM Venengine real quickly. Yeah, so then what a short stream though. I am at a sneeze and it's about to be violent. I don't know when to. Yeah, 32 minutes. That's pretty short. Yeah, Resin, I will end the stream with stuff. But yeah, anyways, see y'all maybe next weekend, maybe, who knows.